Hello and welcome to my front-end web development practical guide video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the technologies that you need to learn to become a front-end web developer. The front-end of a website is the part that users interact with. So everything that you see when you're navigating around the internet, like text, graphics, images, fonts, etc. So whatever you see on a website is the front-end part of a website. The development of front-end part is called front-end development, or also known as front-end engineering. Basically, there are three main languages for the front-end development. These are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is the most basic building block of the web. It defines the meaning and the structure of the web content. So it defines it's the audio, it's the video objects, the text, all the elements you see on a website, on a web page, is the HTML. And the next one is CSS. CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets, is a declarative language that controls how web pages look in your browser. So it basically defines the appearance of the web page. It includes fonts, colors, box model, positioning, transition, responsive design, etc. The next one is JavaScript. JavaScript is basically a programming language that is used in the client side, and it is used to add functionality or behavior to the web. In other words, we can say that JavaScript makes the websites more interactive. So if you learn the pure CSS, then there might be cases that you might want to use a CSS framework. CSS framework basically allows you to speed up your development process. So there are CSS framework like Bootstrap, Tailwind CSS, Materialize CSS, Bulma. But you don't have to learn these stuff. It's just an option. But learning a CSS framework will gonna help you a lot in a lot of cases. There are other tools that you might want to use as a front-end web developer. These include Git, browser dev tools. Git is basically distributed version control system for tracking changes in source code during the software development. So it's like a time machine of code. So you should probably want to learn that. And the next tool is the browser dev tools. So obviously, as a front-end developer, you might be, you'll be using the browser quite a lot. So you need to be familiar with the tools of the browser, like the eyedropper, inspector, network tab, etc. Another skills that you should have, whether you're a front-end developer or a back-end developer, is deploying your website on the internet. So you must have a fine knowledge of domain registration, managed hosting, static hosting, and there are a lot of websites for this. For example, we have Namesafe and Google Domain for domain registration. For managed hosting, we have InMotion and Bluehost. For static hosting, we have Netlify and Heroku. And not only this, there are a lot of other websites also. The next skill you want to learn is a front-end framework. Front-end framework basically allows you to build powerful single-page applications with maintainable and very organized code. It's a great tool for collaboration. So if you want to work with other developers, it's a great tool. Before learning a JavaScript framework, you should have a fine knowledge of JavaScript, which includes the fundamentals and some advanced stuff like asynchronous JavaScript and the modern JavaScript, which are also known as ES6 or ES 2015 syntax. There are lots of front-end frameworks, the top most popular front-end frameworks are React, Angular, and Vue. React is not actually a framework, it's a library, but it's still the most popular one. Vue is a very popular front-end framework. It's been getting its popularity since the couple of years, and it's the easiest one to learn. Angular is a very popular front-end framework, but its popularity seems to be decreasing since the last couple of years. And for beginners, it's a complex framework to learn. The next skill you want to learn after learning a front-end framework is state management. State management is a method of managing the state. As an application grows, so does the complexity of managing the state. State management library will make the complexity much lesser. So for React, we have Redux state management library, context API with hooks. For Vue, we have Vuex. For Angular, we have services and GRX. These are the basic front-end technologies you need to learn to become a front-end web developer.